China's economy is in trouble. And
China's economy is suffering from the opposite, deflation.
Chinese stock market's a strange beast.
Hey my friend, I get the buzz about China's economy everywhere you look in the mainstream media. It's nothing but negativity and pessimism, right? And you know what? It's not surprising at all. As an investor in the Chinese stock market, let me tell you, I've experienced the harsh reality of losing some serious cash. It's been a real disaster, but hold on a second. Let's take a deep breath and calm down. Because being a mutual investor means have certain qualities. It means objectively and rationally analyzing the current economic situation. Does this mean China's economy is totally screwed? Will the Chinese stock market keep plummeting forever? Will it crash so hard that all the market capitalization is wiped out? And we go back to the ancient days of isolation. Well, let's put on your thinking caps here, folks. The answer is big fat no. So grab a cup of coffee and take a seat. Let's dive into whether the world's second largest economy is real as terrible as we think. Before we jump into today's content, I want to clarify my mindset behind my YouTube channel and the content I create. I've noticed that some viewers instinctively think that I'm blindly cheering for China, like I'm some kind of mindless China cheerleader. But let me tell you, that's far from the truth. In my content, I objectively analyze and point out many issues with Chinese economy and its companies. So I don't let those comments bother me. What I think is those folks just lack of global perspective. Think about it. When we approach problems with a nationalistic mindset, we are already biased towards our own country, right? We're all part of this global community, friend. When you start thinking of yourself as true global citizen and adopt a global mindset, you will see the bigger picture of our planet and its development as citizen of the earth. You will also begin to understand the power behind the multinational corporations. Unlimited, you will be open-minded and ready to learn. And that's exactly why I started my YouTube channel. As an investor, I believe it's even more crucial to have this kind of ability. Look at any successful investor, Warren Buffett, George Soros, Jim Rogers, they all have this perspective. So just let go of your biases, broaden your horizon, and realize that our investment playground is much wider than we can imagine. This is also a very important lesson I learned from the past 3 years. So here, my old friends and new friends, I'm Sheila Wang, and if you want to stay in the loop with the latest and the greatest business and investment insights, don't forget to smash the like button and hit the subscribe. And if you are hungry for a more detailed investing report, make sure to check out my analysis report down below. Now, let's come into today's topic. Firstly, let me review the downside process. On August 10th, 2023,
President Biden is calling China a, quote, ticking time bomb.
President Biden adding insult to injury, calling China a ticking time bomb and adding, quote, that's not good.
And on December 5th, international rating agency Moody's downgraded its outlook from stable to negative. Then, followed by Goldman Sachs, the more rating agencies follow suit. It's safe to see that China's A-share stock market is in a trust crisis, and investors feel pain, as stock price continue to plummet. So what the heck happened to China's economy? After the pandemic, the economy will recover and the people will go back normal. The reality is not that optimistic. It seems like that things have gotten even tougher. So what's going on here? Over the past few months, we've all noticed that the economy is taking a nosedive, and data seems to back it up. Let's look at a couple of key indicators first. We've got a consumer price index, what we call CPI here, and let me tell you, it's as low as it gets. We're all talking about suspicions of deflation. Typically, when the CPI is about 3%, it means that the economy is overheating. If it's between 2 to 3%, things are normal. But when it drops below 2%, it's a sign of a cold economy. Now here's a kicker. While the rest of the world is experiencing inflation, China's CPI is sitting at a measly 0.1%. In this January, the CPI dropped by 0.8% compared to the previous year, marking 4 consecutive months of negative growth. That's a clear indication of weak market demand and economic pressure. It just goes to show that China's economy is in a pretty sorry state. When people are too scared to spend, prices drop, and that's what's happening here. If we look at the trend of the CPI from the 2015 to now, it's been pretty bleak. Most of the time, China's CPI has been below 2%. Now, let's talk about the second indicator that's got us scratching our hands. Youth unemployment. The youth unemployment rate refers to the proportion of the population aged 16 to 24 who are actively seeking employment but can't find a job. Here, let's take BYD as an example. In recent years, the development of electronic vehicles have skyrocketed. And with that comes the need for engineers and workers, right? But here's the problem. The electronic vehicle market has boomed in just the past few years, and there simply aren't enough engineers available for recruitment. So, companies like BYD have to resort to hiring fresh graduates with no work experience and invest heavily in their training. But this year, in an interview, Wang Chuanfu, the chairman of BYD, revealed that they currently have 60,000 to 70,000 engineers on board, and this year alone, they plan to hire an additional 30,000 fresh graduates. Among them, only in Tsinghua and Peking universities, they have already recruited 700 to 800 people. While in the past years, they could not even recruit those who graduate from Tsinghua and Peking University. Because we know these two universities in China has been reckoned at the top list of the universities. This is a very good example to show that the unemployment rate is really high in China. According to the International Labour Organization's Global Employment Trends for Youth report, the global average youth unemployment rate was 40.9%. In Europe and Central Asia, it was 16.4%. While in the Asia-Pacific regions, it stood at 14.9%. North America had the lowest rate at 8.3%. So here's a conundrum, folks. Although China's consumer price index and the youth unemployment rate, which are important indicators to gauge the state of economy, are both pretty lousy, there seems to be a contradictory situation going on with the performance of the GDP and export part. First off, let's talk about China's GDP growth rate. The data released by the National Bureau of Statistics on January 17 showed that China's gross domestic product (GDP) increased by 4.2% in the past year, compared to the previous year. The GDP growth is not too shabby either. So logically, everyone should feel the positive effects of economy, right? Prices shouldn't be so low and youth unemployment shouldn't be so high. But why is there such a big disconnection between the macro data and people's perception? Well, there are two main possibilities for this situation. First, there could be errors or inaccuracies in the statistics. And the second, China's economic structure has undergone significant changes. Well, it's pretty obvious that the second possibility is the one at play here. So what exactly do we mean by economic structure change? The thing is, during this period of economic transformation, it can be quite painful. High-end manufacturing industries are capital and technology intensive, and they generate products with high added value. However, they are not labor-intensive industries, meaning they won't provide a lot of job opportunities. You only need 10 people to manufacturing a car worth $500,000, whereas you need 100 people to produce clothing worth the same value. That's the difference between in labor requirements between high-end and low-end manufacturing. So, while high-end manufacturing drives the economy, it doesn't create as many jobs. On the other hand, the decline in low-end and mid-range manufacturing doesn't contribute much to the overall output, but it does lead to the job losses for many people. This is the pain of the economic structural transformation process. But this pain is something we have to endure. The proportion of traditional manufacturing industries in the economic structure keeps decreasing, resulting in a large number of people becoming unemployed. Among unemployed, only a small number of individuals with strong technical skills can transition to high-end manufacturing industry, like skilled workers from traditional fuel-based vehicle manufacturing moving to the new energy vehicle industry. The rest are forced to concentrate in other low-end and middle-range manufacturing sectors, intensifying competition and causing wages to decline and working hours to lengthen. That's the reason why common people who work in the low-end industries have a very unfavorable perception these years. Do you remember the BYD's example I mentioned above? When a graduate is unemployed, they will try to snatch the job of undergraduates. If an undergraduate is unemployed, they will go after the jobs of vocational school graduates. And if the vocational school graduates are unemployed, they will compete with high school graduates for jobs. Ultimately, this leads to an extremely challenging situation for the lower state of a society. And that is where China finds itself right now. It's a bit like pattern I just described. Sure thing, folks, as regular folks can spot the same issues, why not Chinese leaders can't, right? They're actively working to address and solve these problems. But hey, progress needs time. Their ongoing efforts are focused on accelerating industry upgrades, developing high-end manufacturing, and creating more job opportunities in the shortest time possible. And let me tell you, China's industrial upgrades are looking pretty darn good. The booming development of the new energy vehicle as example, which has seen some impressive export figures. We can be certain that China's new energy vehicle manufacturing industry will continue to flourish for a long time. In the world of new energy vehicles, China has an absolute advantage. They have not only established a comprehensive industry system, but also created many well-known brands. Currently, there are dozens of domestic new energy vehicle brands in China, such as Xiaopeng, NIO, BYD, Lotus, Li Auto, and so on. Clarify that I'm not saying that China's economy is highly dependent on the new energy vehicles. Just saying that this is a very good engine for the China's new economy. And of course, there are also some difficulties for them, as we saw that. According to the Dutch press, the European Commission is investigating whether to impose punitive tariffs exceeding to the European standard 10% rate to protect European manufacturers from the impact of cheaper Chinese imported electric cars. And I'm still holding my opinions. No matter how difficult it was, difficulties are only temporary. We have to believe in the invisible hand of the market, which will eventually come into play. We predict that the next 10 to 15 years will be a period of explosive growth for China's new energy vehicle industry, providing a massive number of job opportunities. China not only has a huge advantage in the new energy sector, but also favorable conditions in the semiconductor field. The United States have been waging trading technology wars against China, as we know, especially with the chip ban. But you know what? That situation has actually provided extreme favorable conditions for China's breakthrough in the chip industry. High-end chips require significant investment and have a slow payback period. So, under the backdrop of the globalization, it wasn't wise for Chinese companies to invest huge amounts of money in high-end chips research and development, right? But after the chip war launched by the United States against China, the whole situation changed, forcing companies to invest massive amounts of money in research and development. In recent years, China's chip industry has been developing rapidly. Many semiconductor companies, including SMIC, have achieved breakthroughs in 28nm chip technology. And significant progress has been made in 14nm chips. Chinese private enterprises represented by Huawei are constantly exploring cutting-edge technologies, giving us hope for independent controllability. What we have known is that China imports over $40 billion worth of semiconductors every year, even more than amount spent on all imports. If Chinese companies can provide all the chips needed for Chinese products, how many job opportunities will that create? In addition to new energy vehicles and chip industries, the commercial maiden flight of C919 has been completed, which will undoubtedly provide a large number of job opportunities in the future. Now that you understand all of this, you might just realize why people think China's economy isn't doing well this year. And you also know the direction of its future developments. And we have to admit that there are always some people in society who are ahead of the game and dare to take action. We have already seen some pioneer investors changing their tune and becoming bullish on China. Well, just look at this guy, Mike Barrow. His hedge fund, Cyan Asset Management, increased its holdings in Alibaba and Jingdong.com in the fourth quarter of 2023. According to the 13F report, the investment firm added 25,000 shares of Alibaba, bringing the total position to 35,000 shares valued at $5.81 million. It also added 25,000 shares of Jingdong.com, raising the total position to 200,000 shares valued at $5.78 million. At the end of the fourth quarter of 2023, Alibaba was Cyan's largest holding, accounting for 6.1% of its assets, with Jingdong.com coming in second. Remember Barrow's investment thesis? Here, I'd like to mention Barrow's investment thesis. The share price is below net cash, and the book value of its equity investment may be realizable. Secondly, the company's profitability and cash flow levels are improving. And thirdly, the previous sharp drop in the share price was forced to happen due to the market irrationality. And this very low valuation level is unsustainable. Now just think about these three principles that Mike Barrow holds. Why he decided to buy Ali. Also, Canada's largest pension fund, CPPIB, Canada Pension Plan Investment Board, bought a new position in Alibaba in the fourth quarter of 2023, taking a position of 3.6 million shares. And here comes to the major buyers for the Alibaba, Jack Ma and Zhu Zai. So far, they are not only sold single share, but also instead increased their holdings. A strong response to rumors that they were selling Alibaba. You might see that since Jack Ma and Zhu Zai are Alibaba's big founder and largest shareholders, so their behaviors of buying back shares doesn't mean anything. And yes, it's true that before the Chinese New Year, I also expressed my attitude of not adding my position on Alibaba, and I just hold on my money in my video before. But today, I think things changed. I just share some of the things I observed, I saw, and I understood for you, judge by yourself whether it's the right time to go long. I see it's hard to predict whether the absolute low point of Chinese economy is, but this is definitely a relatively low point. Opportunities always come to those who are prepared for it. Perhaps it's now a good time to start researching your favorite investment targets. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will hope you found this video is useful. I will appreciate for your like and subscription. See you next time, my friend.